Good evening, everybody, and welcome back to the channel. Before we begin with today's video, please do share the videos. Please do subscribe. Get your friends to subscribe. Get your cousins to subscribe. Heck, get your grandma to subscribe, please. It makes a huge difference, guys. Without any further ado, let's get into it. Manchester United versus Burnley. Look ahead. A few things to talk about in tonight's show ahead of the Old Trafford game. In terms of form, in the last five, these teams are actually surprisingly evenly matched. Burnley losing 3 in their last 5 and picking up 2 wins. United also picking up 2 wins, but losing 2 and then the draw, of course. It's evenly matched in terms of the form table, in terms of these teams. Of course, on the table, they're separated by 7 points, which means that Burnley is all the way in 14th, which should give United a bit of confidence. But before we get into the game itself, the Rashford injury, we have to talk about it. You know, what do you guys feel about the Rashford injury? And in particular, do you think, how much of the blame actually do you put on Ole Gunnar Solskjaer for the injury of Marcus Rashford? Because it is a stress fracture. And for those of you who don't know what a stress fracture is or what the cause is, it's basically from stress. That's what it is. So when a player plays too much, these sorts of things tend to happen. And it's not really an injury that comes as a result of a knock or a blow. It's something that is preventable. It's something that could have been prevented, in my opinion. But what are your guys' thoughts on it?
Well, yeah, the Rashford injury is a major blow to United. I think he has been one of our best players this season. Most of our goals basically comes from him being in such great form. But I do blame Oli a lot for this injury because he does overplay him, and this injury it should have been avoided. It really should have. I think Ollie's just desperate playing for his job. There's lack of squad depth. There's also the ownership's fault not making in any signings to get squad depth. And I think Robin van Persie, he came out and he also said that he had an injury like this. And he says and it's a bad injury. You have to look after it for your whole career now. And Rashford has got this injury at the age of 21, 22. And Robin van Persie, the thing he said about this injury also, he says that United and Ollie should not whatsoever rush Rashford back at any time soon. This is not the injury to take lightly. It's a career injury, and you have to look after it over your whole career from now on.
Yeah, I heard that actually.
Yeah, but we all know they will rush him because that's what our fitness team and our technical team do. Because they're desperate. Like, I understand he doesn't have the squad depth and he's trying to play for his job, but I put all the blame on Ole 100%. Because the problem with Ole, he recognizes that we're going to transition, but he doesn't want to go to the growing pains. Like, you're going to have to rotate. You're going to have to play players that you don't fancy, but then you're building something. This is part of it. I mean, Klopp would play players he didn't fancy. He'd play the Enriquez in fullback. He'd play players that didn't really suit his style, but because you need to get through a season of 38 games, you just have to do that. So it's all on Ole. He overplayed him, and he's all to blame.
Yeah, I think if there's one phrase or word to describe this, it's the word self-inflicted, or the phrase self-inflicted rather. It's an injury that has come as a result of a lot of things. In particular, Oli trying to keep his job, but not just Oli. Rashford's been playing a lot even before Oli got here. It's obviously gotten worse with him because he's played so many games. It's unfortunate that a 22-year-old's career has been ruined because of inept ownership, an inept director, a so-called director of football, but actually is just a director of accounting, and a manager who claims to be all about the future, but all his actions suggest that he's a manager who's thinking of the short term and not the long term. It's unfortunate. So with Marcus Rashford out for the foreseeable future, something that we will no doubt miss as Manchester United, who would you guys bring in as a realistic person in that attacking position? Not who do you think the United will bring in, because they probably won't bring in anyone. Who do you think we should bring in?
So you mean besides like Greenwood and whoever we have at this club, like a signing?
Yeah, I mean, a signing. Who would you sign if you could sign someone?
If it was up to me, I would go for Cavani. Cavani wants to leave. He put in a transfer request, and to me, there's no other striker. I'd go for Cavani.
But Rashford's a left wing.
Yeah, I know, but I feel like Martial could play at that left wing position.
I was about to say that. No, I was pondering this during the day, and then at a point I was thinking maybe Zaha, and he'd be a perfect fit. He gets the goals. but there's a bit of a bad history there, and I think the Cavani one would be much easier. Cavani's proven, he's got the agility, he's got the pace, he's a goal scorer, and Martial has proved that he can play perfectly on the left wing. So I think Cavani would make more sense, but if I have to go with what I think is the best option, I'd say Zaha.
I can give you 3 reasons why I think Cavani makes absolutely no sense. The first reason is he's never played in the Premier League. The second reason is he's 33 years old. And the third reason is the type of striker that Cavani is, we don't create enough chances. Cavani is a goal scorer, nothing else. He's a goal scorer.
No, I feel like Cavani is a bit more than the general number 9. But what I forgot to say is I think it would work better on loan instead of a permanent deal.
Yeah, and that's your opinion. My opinion is that I don't want to see Cavani in a Manchester United shirt. I don't want to see us buy 33-year-old players, no matter how good they are. I don't care. I do not want, especially if they haven't played in the Premier League, because it's just another recipe for disaster. I agree with Mark Goldbridge. To quote Mark Goldbridge, actually, this is a worst version of the Sanchez deal. You're signing another ex-proven talent who wants to leave his club. What are you doing? And you saying you want to build for the future. I don't get it. I don't agree with it at all.
I agree 100%.
To be honest.
I feel like if we're looking at the idea of building for the future, you must not bring in Cavani. It doesn't make any sense. But if we're looking for a short-term fix, I don't think it would be a bad idea. But short-term fix is never the way to go if you want to build something and win challenge for titles one day.
Yeah, look, all I will say is this. If Cavani does come to Manchester United, and for anyone who knows me, I like Cavani, or used to anyways. But so if he does come to Manchester United, I will back him. But I just don't think it's the right signing. You know, I'm not going to sit here and live up a player's ass just because I like him. He's 33, he's in decline, and he's never played in the Premier League. What makes you think at the back end of his career, all of a sudden, he's got the physicality to play in this league week in, week out, because that's what he's going to be doing.
Yeah, to be honest, I feel like
no backup.
The fact that United fans are considering Cavani just shows what kind of management and owners we have. Because it seems like the kind of player that the Glazers will go for. He's cheap, he will bring something, so they'll go for him. While we should actually be going, while we should actually be going for the Jovic or the Werners of this world, players who will make an impact but still be here for a very long time.
There is a fourth reason as well, but I don't think many Manchester United fans care about money. You know, I don't either. But when a player is 33 years old and their wage bill is 200,000 euros a week, and we've already got such a massive wage bill, what are we signing this guy for? He's clearly coming here for the paycheck. I don't see why Edison Cavani would come to a team that's not even in the Champions League when he's trying to leave PSG, probably for similar reasons. I don't know why he's leaving PSG, by the way. So, you know, if you feel like you can correct me in the comment section, go ahead.
It's a game time thing.
Yeah. But look, I respect your guys' opinion. If you think Cavani's a solution, that's okay. You know, there's nothing wrong with that. I do have an interesting point to bring up. Do you think, if it were possible, do you think recalling Alexis Sanchez as a short-term fix could be something United could do, or do you completely disagree with that?
You know, I was speaking to a friend, and you'll know who he is because you listen to the podcast. But I was speaking to a friend about this, and I would never take Sanchez back. Even, you know, it's just like I see no point in really bringing Sanchez back. I feel like the fans will be with him. You know, I feel like he'll get hated a lot. I feel like, you know, his story is done at United. There's nothing really there, and I think, I'm not sure how true it is, but I read somewhere that there is no clause for him to bring back during this loan.
Yeah.
Hence why I said if.
Yeah, but if I was the guy, I still wouldn't take Sanchez back, really.
Yeah, makes sense.
I read that as well today. Look, if it's Sanchez or nothing, I'll take Sanchez because we need something. But I don't want to say he's done, but like he's just not the same player. Like the pace is gone. He still has a bit of the technical side, but oh my gosh. And he seems to be a bit injury prone. Like, I love Sanchez. He was my favorite player in the Premier League, but he's just not gotten anymore. And he really won't offer us anything. So, no. Definite no.
And also, what I would add on top of that is it's like a failed relationship, you know. You don't go back expecting a different result, you know. If it's anything, this is business, you know. This guy came to Manchester United, didn't play well, didn't give us what we thought we were paying for, what is suddenly going to magically change when he comes back, because the club is in a worse state it's in a worse state now than when he left. So, the fact that we expect him to come back and do something different in an even worse situation when he's already failed whilst Mourinho was here, it's probably not a good idea,
and he doesn't even suit our playing style. Like, we want quick players on the counter. Like, nothing about Sanchez says, or anymore, rather.
Yeah, because he's old. And that's down to age. Just a bit off topic. I'm glad the Eriksen rumors have quietened down, because I felt the same way about Eriksen as I did about when Sanchez failed, and a bit like how I felt when the Cavani rumors started, because Eriksen is a player who has a lot of quality, has a lot of talent, but at the moment he's not showing the consistency and he's not showing the character that I would like to see in a Manchester United jersey as well.
Yeah.
Because if a player loses his head and then all of a sudden goes from being a really good cam to a Danish lawnmower, it's not encouraging. Yeah, why would you want that for your team? Because what if he comes to the team and Ollie says something to him that he doesn't like, and then all of a sudden he's just strolling across the field instead of getting back into his position? You don't want that.
Yeah.
But yeah.
And there's players in Europe, for God's sakes. Like, oh my gosh, what is wrong with this club? There's so many players and reasonable players. Sancho's gonna come. We're gonna pay ridiculous wages, and we could have just saved in wages and just paid the stupid fee.
That's what I feel about if Cavani comes, because even if Cavani does get here and he gets off to a flying start. Firstly, if you're unaware of this, Cavani's been injured 4 times in the last season. I heard that from the United stand. So if it's not accurate, it's not my fault. That's what I've heard from someone else. Supposedly he's been injured 4 times in a very short space of time, contextually. Mm-hmm. And he's 33. So these injuries aren't going to suddenly get better over time. I don't know what the injuries are, but 4 injuries is a lot. We're buying yet another injury-prone player. I don't even have to talk about Martial or Rash. Rash is not really injury-prone, but he's going to be now thanks to his back fracture. I can give you a lot of examples. Bailey, Delo, Rojo, Jones, Shaw. Oh, Shaw's the golden one. I didn't even need to bring in Shaw, but Shaw's the golden one. That's 5 players in the same area of the field alone where we already have injury problems. And I feel like as a team, we just don't seem to learn, We just don't seem to learn.
Yeah.
Because a lot of these players had injury problems before they came to United as well. I think Bailey was one of them.
Yeah. It's ineptitude from the top to the bottom. And like, what kind of team are we that now we're taking PSG rejects? Like, imagine.
That's true. Yeah, well, anyways, let's get to the business of the day, shall we? How likely do you think Burnley is to come away with the result at Old Trafford with what's going on at Manchester United right now?
With Manchester United, that famous saying, life is like a box of chocolates. United is like a box of chocolates. You never know what you're going to get. But I think percentage-wise, with Burnley to get something, either a point or a win, I would say it's 40%. I wouldn't bet against that. I think 40% Burnley can get something out of this game.
No, I agree 100%. Like, if there's any team United doesn't want to play, it's Burnley, because they're going to expose all our problems. Like, I don't even need to say them, because all the viewers know what I'm going to say about this team. So, yeah, I think we have the capability to cause them problems. If we play like we played, what game was it? When Mata was man of the match? What game was it again?
Against Wolves, wasn't it?
No,
I know he played well at home.
The one in the league.
I can't remember. Jeez, I can't remember.
Okay, it's fine.
Yeah. Newcastle, possibly.
The game.
Possibly.
Yeah, I think so. I think it's Newcastle. The game we played Pereira and Mata in midfield. I think if we go with that style again and hold the ball.
It was Norwich.
It was
Norwich, yeah.
It was Norwich.
It's Norwich, yeah. Just clicked in my head.
Jeez. So yeah, if we play like we play in that game and be productive on the ball and don't move the ball side to side, like, we can cause them problems. Because we've seen against Man City, they can capitulate. If you put pressure on them, you stop them from playing that style. They don't have a plan B. They're like us.
Look, I think I think any negativity or any uncertainty or any doubt is perfectly rational going into this game, you know. But for me, I think we did beat Burnley 2-0 away from home. So, and it was a weaker squad than, well, actually, it wasn't really a weaker squad. In some areas, it was a weaker squad because I don't think Mata played away from home. I think Rashford only scored in the 90th minute, and we were already 1-0 up at that point, anyways.
Yeah, no.
So,
yeah,
my confidence levels have dropped because Rashford isn't here. But as a whole, I don't think Burnley have the quality to seriously put us out of the game. I think in the final third, they're really, really poor. I think their top goal scorer, and someone can correct me because I'm not 100% sure, but I think their top goal scorer only has 6 goals in the league.
Yeah. No, that's
I'm
true.
not sure.
That's true. And like Rashford not being as big flows, because who's gonna score? But
It's a huge blow.
I just feel like they are very fragile at the moment. They're not doing that well. It's not the Burnley of old, but it's still Burnley. If they score first, that low block, oh my gosh. And then the power and height. I remember a game, I think it was last season, where we had to fight to come back last minute and we drew 2-2. And like, I think that was one of the best defensive displays I've ever seen from a team in the Premier League. So they're really good at that.
They are, definitely. It's going to be a problem. It's going to be a problem. But you know, I think this game it's another one of those weird games. You know, it's a test of United's character. I think Manchester United, after losing to Liverpool, particularly Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, again, the main focus, he has to show something. He has to show something. You know, we may not believe it because, you know, you two are definitely Ole out. But for the Ole inners and for the United fan base at large, he's got to show something for the sake of all our sanity and our mental health. He has to show something in this game. I think there's nothing negative that can come from beating Burnley, other than the fact that we're still playing the same playing style. But if we get to 3 points, it's huge.
Honestly, I think Greener needs to play. I think it's time for Greener to play because we need those goals. And what I hate about Ole, he has a double standard. Like, is James not young? But like, how is the same philosophy and idea not to apply for James that applies to Greenwood? So I really hate that about him.
I think for Greenwood, it's a case of the position he traditionally plays and the competition he has in that position. I think for Dan James, he's got a lot of leniency because who the hell do you play right wing ahead of Dan James?
Yeah,
you know, it's just where we are as a club. I agree with what you're saying, but I'm just trying to explain why Ole might have a double standard there. I don't think he's maniacally laughing and saying, haha, Greenwood, you're not going to get a chance because I don't like you. I don't think that's what's actually going on, you know.
Obviously not. But like, as I said, go through the growing pains. Because like, look now, he's overplaying one player, but then at the same time, he's saying you can't overplay one player because he's young. And now a player's injured.
That's true. Yeah. I think it's you know, it's so difficult for Ole, man. It's so difficult. Like, I'm not even going to try to defend him because I don't agree with what he's doing. But from his perspective and being in his shoes, you got a player who's got 19 goals in all competitions. You've got a player in the middle who's Tony Martial, and you just know what he can do. And then you've got Dan James on the right, who doesn't really have a realistic replacement. And every time Greenwood's played there, he hasn't really looked to come into fruition the way we know he can. So for Ole, it's just a massive head scratcher. And I think he's just taken too long to react and make the difficult decision. And that's also another criticism I have for Ole. He doesn't know how to make the difficult decisions.
He does.
You know, he should have just picked one. He should have been like, all right, Tony and Rashford, one of you needs to rest. So one of you is going to have to take the L, and then I'll bring one off and the other who rested on from the bench. He doesn't even do that. He keeps them both on instead because he's too scared to be like, you know, one of you's got to take the L.
Yeah.
The sad thing is Tony might get injured as well.
Because like Chong is going to get better from just training the whole year.
Yeah, and Gomez isn't good enough, and because, you know, for whatever reason, we're not going to give him a contract, so he can go. Yeah. It's tough times. It's tough times. Shall we get to the predicted XI? This is a painful part of the video, you know, for me. I don't know about you guys, but this is a painful part. You know, you guys know that Rash is one of my favorite players. I've never said he's my favorite player, but I think now more than ever, I can feel it now. I know he's deep down inside his.
You only know what you have when you lose.
Upset. Yeah, exactly. And I've lost the one thing that I thought, you know, like, Shawnee, you couldn't have said it any better. But he's gone, and I feel that much more in doubt about United's ability to win.
Mm.
You think
Yeah,
Bailey will start?
Yeah, I think you should start. I think, we need some squad rotation. This is kind of a safe-ish game. I think Bailly is definitely way better than Lindelof in the air, more physical. And in a game against Burnley, I would play him, rest Lindelof as well.
Now, I 100% agree with that, but I feel like you're way too trusting of Ole. I don't think that will happen.
I'm hoping.
I think
I need
Heck,
to
we
live
might
with
even
something.
see Shaw playing the centre back.
yeah,
Again.
it's going to be the exact same pairing, trust me.
Oh, Shaw was
And I
injured.
think-
Shaw went off injured.
Yeah, sure, it's injured. Yeah, that's why I didn't
Wait,
play him
what?
ahead of Williams. He went to
Yeah,
injured.
in-
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. What is going on at this club?
So Williams will have to play a full game again.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, I agree with most of this team, but for some odd reason, I just feel like he won't play Greenwood. I think he's going to play Pereira. I think he's going to play Martial in striker, Pereira in the
James
10,
on the left.
Mata. Yeah, James on the left and Mata on the right. That's what he's going to do.
I wouldn't be completely against that, other than the fact that I think Greenwood deserves a chance. But I wouldn't be completely against that because I'm not a huge fan of Tony on the wings.
I
not a huge fan of-
kind of appreciate
He's
it.
decent.
No, I'm not doubting his ability on the wing. I'm just not a fan of it. I like
I'm a-
seeing Tony in the middle, personally.
I'm a bit 50-50 about it because I do want Mata on the right because I do think he's more productive then. But at the same time, I do feel we need Greenwood's goals. So I don't know.
Yeah, that's
we
the only
need-
criticism I have of
We need to
yeah.
do something though. If it was me, I would probably play this attacking guys up here if he's going to go with this type of formation. I
Look,
would
I
put
think-
Martial on the wing, and I think I would put Greenwood and definitely at the striking position and James on the right side.
What I would honestly do, right? What I would genuinely do is play James on the left, Martial in the middle, Mata on the right, Pereira in the 10, and trying very hard not to swear right now. But for F's sakes, bring Greenwood on earlier. Don't bring him on when there's 15 minutes left. Bring him on earlier. If Martial hasn't done anything for 45 minutes and then some in the second half, take him off at 50. Take him off at 50 if he hasn't scored and bring Greenwood on. But I think another issue with what I've just said is then who do you bring on for James? Because we know James doesn't have the tank. And I'm
And the
worried
last
about
thing,
James.
and the last thing I want to see is Lingard coming on also.
Who else are you going to bring though? Just
Like,
one of
like I
them
said,
things.
if I was the manager, I'd bring a no-name player from the youth even. But I'm not
It's
the
Gomez,
manager.
yeah.
He's probably
Yeah,
Gomez.
okay, Gomez.
Okay.
Yeah, so Gomez on the
Oh.
bench off for James, and then Greenwood on for Martial is what I would do. That's my changes in the second half if United are still 0-0.
Yeah.
But I don't know about because here's my thing, right? With I think being a manager, ideally what you want to do, this might get a bit philosophical, but ideally what you want to do in a game of football is to always have a plan B off the bench. And I think if you start Greenwood and Martial, you lose that plan B in terms of goals. And so
Yeah,
to have
true.
them both on the field, both expanding their energy, both potentially not scoring goals, what do you do at the 60th minute if you're down against Burnley and Greenwood and Martial having a bad game? It's
Yeah,
always
no,
nice to have
true.
an option to bring off the bench. That's
I
that's
feel
actually
like-
why I prefer when Mata actually. With Mata, it doesn't really matter because you're going to bring on Pereira anyways when he gets tired.
Actually,
Yeah.
I felt like that's why Pep didn't start Morris on the weekend. Yes, it backfired, but I felt like he wanted something off the bench that could push the team further.
Yeah, like you can't put all your eggs into one basket and then smile on the sidelines when it doesn't work and it looks like you're not. Well, Ollie's going to do that anyways, but
exactly.
you have to have something off the bench. That's my only criticism of Greenwood and Martial starting together. Because who do you bring on, man? Like Lingard to come change things against Burnley when he hasn't scored in God knows how long.
As soon as
Let
Lingard's on
alone
the field,
assisted.
game is dead.
Yeah, that's why I like it. The idea of Mata saving his legs and coming on in the second half, because if he plays in the first half, you're asking so much of him against a fresh team. And I know it can work. I know he can produce the moments of brilliance. So, I'm not saying it's the wrong thing to do. I'm just saying personally, I would bring
That's
him on. But don't wait till the 75th minute, dog.
That
Bring
makes-
him on at 50.
It makes perfect sense. I just don't trust his team to come
Yeah,
back.
that's
and-
the thing. Like, it makes sense, and it is the right thing. But I just don't have faith in Oli to do that.
It probably won't. And
Yeah.
the coming back element as well. But like you got to try. You can't just as a manager say I don't have faith in my team coming back.
You
Therefore,
must prove it.
I'm going to
You
start
must,
all my strongest player.
you must prove us wrong.
Wow. This is the second richest team in the world, ladies and gentlemen.
Wage bill wise.
I do.
I think we're the second highest wage bill in the world and the first highest wage bill in England, if I'm not mistaken.
Even revenue, like we make pretty much the most amount of money. The most.
Yeah, definitely.
Money.
I think the revenue stat is, and this could make for an interesting talking point. I think the revenue stat is becoming kind of irrelevant at the moment. Not because I don't believe that we are the second richest club in the world. I do, but I feel like people misinterpret what that actually means. Firstly, we've got owners that are bleeding the club dry. So even if the money is there, it's not available because they're doing something sketchy with it. But second of all, and this is probably just a conspiracy theory, I'm starting to jump on the we don't have money train because the way we've been doing business over the last few years is a bit sketchy. And I know that Ed Woodward, the Glazers, are probably greedy businessmen, but based on the amount of money they've spent, based on our wage bill, and based on who we've hired as managers in the past, particularly Jose Mourinho and Louis van Gaal, these guys aren't complete airheads. They're not completely unwilling to spend money on this club. They clearly are. The proof is there. I mean, Paul Pogba's transfer fee alone is absurd. So to see them now not want to spend that amount of money on a player like Bruno Fernandes, a lot of people say, oh, it's the board trying to pocket some money. Look, whether you agree with it or not, these guys want money out of the club, right? Does doing well on the pitch not improve their chances of success?
Yeah.
And I'm not saying they're good at doing their job. I'm just saying their intentions might not be the way everybody's reading them.
Yeah. It just doesn't seem realistic that they just...
Yeah, it just doesn't seem realistic. Yeah, it doesn't. Like, something is seriously wrong with this club, and I don't think it's completely the owner's fault. And I can't believe I'm saying this, but I genuinely don't. I think we're just finding things to blame for our anger as a fan base. But these guys have actually spent quite a lot of money in the last few seasons.
I just have a feeling they're trying to pay off the debt.
Probably. That's probably the end goal. But what you have to realize is that the team doing well only helps them pay off that debt as well. You know, so I think they're in a difficult space where they're like, how much money do they spend and how much are they willing to bleed into the club so they can get something out without risking too much? Because if they spend too much and the club falls, then they've got debt and the club is not making money and they have to sell. So they have to find a weird balance between the two. I think that's what's actually going on. And you can see it with the Bruno Fernandes transfer.
My biggest problem with these people is that if you're struggling, why don't you bring in people who know what they're doing to help you? I feel like it's the easiest solution to this problem.
I feel like that comes down to the fact that something sketchy is happening at the club. I feel like our revenue is genuinely going somewhere else, and it's not sketchy. I'm not accusing them of breaking the law or anything like that, but I am accusing them of being greedy businessmen, and I am accusing them of finding loopholes and ways to get money out of our club because they don't seem like nice guys. There's nothing about them that makes me think that they care about me and my podcast and how my team's playing on the pitch. So that's just my 2 cents. With regards to this team, guys, it's all covered. The only other talking point I have, with this predicted XI, is that I know there's no other personnel, but I'm really worried about Matic and Fred. I really am. And I don't know which one I'm more worried about because old man Matic playing this many games, it's not healthy. But Fred also, he's so young, and we're going to ruin this guy's career because he's playing his arse off week in, week out, and not getting subbed off or rested.
Let's play Tinzo over there.
I wouldn't be.
No, even better. Sorry, Sean, but even better, Foster Mensah. He's like a new signing.
He is like a new signing. That's what, I don't know if you guys seen the comments Matic also made after the Liverpool game. He said if any of the fans think we didn't play well or something, then they're wrong.
Like, can I ask, where's Jimmy Garner, who's apparently ready?
You know what? I think Oli answered that question, and guys, listen, I'm not going to defend Oli, okay? I'm just going to try point out what I think is actually happening, not a way of defending him. I think Ole just has a serious lack of media experience, and you can't take everything that man says literally. Genuinely, I think he's bad at choosing his words. I'm I'm not saying he's not a liar, and I'm not saying he's not Mr. Positive and he's not a smiling prat. I think he is. But on top of that, I feel like he lacks the media experience, and my proof is the clubs he's managed in the past. So I think he said a lot of things that he didn't actually literally mean, and he's just under a lot of pressure. I've seen that man laugh at a question.
I say his post-match reactions are starting to sound rehearsed.
Probably
They
are,
sound-
because somebody's
They
probably
sound so
scolded him.
repetitive.
Yeah. My word, some of the stuff Ollie says, man, you just wonder if this guy's managing one of the biggest clubs in the world, or a PE team, or like a pub team, because you just can't take it seriously, you know? Like when they were talking about, the counter-attacking football, and he said, no, we don't play counter-attacking football. That's a bit negative. We play open, expansive attacking football. That's not true. That's a straight-out lie. I think what Ollie was trying to say is, let's not be negative about it. Why are we calling it counter-attacking football? That's what he's really saying.
Just doesn't have to
Unless he's just deluded. Maybe he's deluded. Maybe he actually believes we play open, expansive attacking, dominant football. Maybe he's deluded. But anyway, score predictions. Sorry.
I'll let Moroto go first.
Wow.
I think United will win. Let me just put it out there.
You think so?
I think
just
our
feel
chances
like-
of winning are higher than Burnley's.
I just feel like one of those banana peels, eh? I don't know why. I just feel like one of those games are going to slip. But we just lost to Liverpool, so they're going to turn up because they love Ollie. So, and Burnley are very wary. So,
And we've beaten them
I'm
before,
gonna-
anyways. It's not like we haven't
Yeah,
beaten them.
I'm going to go with the 2-2 draw.
Interesting.
Interesting. I was gonna go for a 2-1 United win, and I don't think I feel like it's gonna be a rough 2-1 where we will get the early goal, but then Burnley will score in second half or something, and then we'll end up getting a last minute, just a scratch at anything, and it falls to someone like Greenwood, and he just puts it in, and we win the game. But I do think United will somehow at the end of it win it.
Possible, because Burnley's playing terribly at the moment.
Yeah.
So, well, just one last thing, a little off topic, not about the game at all. This is more of a purist fan type of question. Don't treat this question seriously. It's just a fantasy question. What is one thing as a Manchester United fan that you would 100% like to see between now and the end of the season? Could be anything. Could be a player getting signed, whether you think it's going to happen or not. Could be anything. What is the one thing you want to see? And obviously, us beating Liverpool is not going to happen now because, we lost to them.
Shini, do you want to go first?
No, you can go first.
You guys are bad fans. I'm kidding.
Yeah, it's tough. Okay, it's not tough. What am I saying? Football. I want us to play football. I want us to play an expansive style and be true to our word. I want us to play youth. I want us to take risks and just be brave on the football pitch. And if we don't finish top 4, it's fine. It's fine. We're building something. We see progress. So that's what I take.
That's actually a really good answer. I wasn't expecting.
Yeah, I was gonna say the same thing. Probably change of formation, change of tactics or something. But always the bigger picture. I want new owners. I want the new managers, things like that. But in terms of what I would like to see every week is, I would like to see my old 4-3-3 attacking formation actually, showing something that we have learned and we're building towards something.
I'm sure we're Manchester United.
I'm not going to lie. If there's one thing I would like to see that would alleviate some of my tension and anger at the club, is us lifting the Europa League. I'm going to be honest. Because I would like to see this team get back in the Champions League, even though they get absolutely battered. I genuinely think there's nothing negative about us winning the Europa League. I mean, for the Glazers, they get to bank 50 mil because they're in the Champions League. For us, we get to see Champions League football. For the players, they get to experience the Champions League, these young players who are going to be better in the future. And as a club, it will put us in a better place. If our revenue problems are as bad as some of the fans, including myself, think they are, then we desperately need to start winning stuff, because that's primarily how football clubs ascend into such big financial powerhouses, winning stuff, fundamentally. Obviously, United has a lot of brand exposure and all that jazz and a good revenue stream, but it all came from winning stuff in the first place.
Yeah, it's all about the football, and it should be a no-brainer. Like every top team, we're in the Europa League now. Oh, we're gonna win it. Atletico Madrid, they won it. Chelsea, they won it. Why can't we do it?
We've done it before with Mourinho, so hopefully we do it.
Mourinho understand. Mourinho is a winner. Mourinho didn't get the players, but Mourinho personified Manchester United. He was a winner.
Yeah, he found a way to win.
Yeah,
he found a way to win. Mourinho made it happen out of nothing. He was like, guys, we're in this league. We shouldn't be in this league, but we're going to win it. We're going to win it. I mean, we're going to lift that trophy.
Let's just take a second and think. Mourinho finished second with a weaker team in this. I mean, like, we have to applaud.
Definitely. Yeah, so I guess that brings us to the end of the show. You know, if you made it till the end, thank you. I appreciate it. Let us know in the comments down below, what is the one thing you would like to see happen at Manchester United? It could be anything, man. Like even a transfer that you know won't happen, but you would love to happen. Just have fun with this question. Let's not take it too seriously, okay? You got to be a bit positive sometimes. I'm surprised that wasn't Tony's answer, to be honest. Listen, guys, I do want to end the show off on a positive note. I know it's been a difficult time in the Manchester United fan base, but ultimately, being toxic and being negative in the heat of the moment is okay because you've got to let frustration out. But don't let that sort of thing carry over into the rest of your week and the rest of your day because that doesn't help anyone. Legit, it doesn't help anyone. You're not going to get the Glazers sacked by sulking. You're not going to help yourself by sulking. You're not going to help anyone by sulking. So, sending good positive vibes. Thank you for listening. Please do leave a like. Please do share the video. As I said at the beginning, even if it's your grandma, ask her to subscribe, please. It makes a huge difference. And I will catch you in the next one. Until then, peace.